The rise and fall of the Keep Cup. Okay, I admit that title of this video is a bit melodramatic, but that's kind of the point. YouTube loves a rise and fall story, so this is my version. It's kind of light-hearted, but I do think there are some interesting points to be made about what I've observed regarding the Keep Cup and its, dare I say it, symbolism. Remember the Keep Cup? Maybe you still have one. Back in 2018, I was devoted to my Keep Cup. It was the signal that I was single-handedly saving the planet. I would put it down to my local coffee shop, tote bag slipped over my shoulder, and declare that I had brought my own Keep Cup. And also, did they have oat milk? I would sip my flat white as I meandered through the park, telling the nearest golden doodle who would listen that because of me, there would be one less disposable coffee cup in the trash that day. And I wasn't alone. Pre-pandemic in the sustainable online space, it was all about the Keep Cup. And yes, I did spend a considerable amount of time scrolling back to circa 2017 on each of these creators' profiles. It's not weird, it's research. We saw numerous YouTube reviews of the Keep Cup.
I'm going to be doing a review on the
Keep Cup is one of those OG reusable coffee mug brands. The Keep Cup.
According to an Instagram story poll I did a few weeks ago, it turns out that loads of people do have Keep Cups. I wonder whether this is because a lot of you bought Keep Cups back in its sort of heyday pre-pandemic. And because if you follow me, you are likely to be sustainably minded. So maybe you've kept it and made it last. I don't know. But I unfortunately no longer have mine. Well, my first one. One day I was in Pret, waiting in line, Keep Cup at the ready, just about to reverse climate change, when I heard this almighty smash. I looked down and saw glass all around and everyone was staring at me. Very quickly, a man hurried over with a broom and I realised that I was the source of the smash. And my Keep Cup was no longer. Fair enough, I could have bought another one, or another glass one from Keep Cup, as they do offer replacement parts. But I didn't because, frankly, I couldn't deal with the leaking anymore and I stopped buying so many takeaway coffees anyway. I have talked about the Keep Cup a lot on my channel, and I even dedicated a whole video to reviewing mine. So let's travel back to a time in which life was simpler, my hair was straighter, and we were still trying to fit all of our trash in a mason jar. Why did I buy this one? I bought this one for absolutely shallow and vain reasons. I thought it was really beautiful. And now that I have it, I'm obviously going to use it for as long as I possibly can until it absolutely breaks, and then I'll just replace the parts instead of buying a whole new item because I do really like it. This is definitely true. I like the look of the Keep Cup. It's certainly very neat and aesthetically pleasing, but I didn't find it to be the most practical, I have to say. There were, however, good things about it. Let's start with, I guess, the good. So this is the perfect size for a flat white if you go anywhere.
From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
We're asking everyone to work at home if possible, postpone unnecessary travel.
आज रात 12 बजे से संपूर्ण देश में.
Well, as it turns out, a couple of years later in 2020, not many of us did actually go anywhere. And this kind of changed things for the Keep Cup. Lots of coffee shops that remained open during the pandemic for takeaways would not allow customers to bring their own cups. The main problem with the Keep Cup during the pandemic was that many fewer people were commuting and popping into coffee shops before they caught the bus or train. Our day-to-day lives were fundamentally changed, even if you did continue to commute. And people weren't satisfied with having a standard coffee during the pandemic. They wanted to recreate what they couldn't get at home. Sales of coffee machines, coffee grinders, and pour-over kettles skyrocketed. Without that commute, many had the opportunity to spend their time refining their technique and were more able to close that gap between home coffee and cafe coffee. In the few years before the pandemic, retailers were seeing huge increases in the number of reusable cups they sold. Argos reported an increase of a whopping 537% in sales from the year 2016 to 2017 compared to the previous year. Interestingly, these sales were around the time of a proposed UK tax on disposable cups, also known as the latte levy, which could have seen a 25p charge on each cup. The government later ruled out this tax, but Starbucks in 2018 decided to trial their own 5p charge for a period of several weeks. The result was that reusable cup use increased by 157%. Buying a reusable coffee cup is great, but it doesn't mean that you're going to use it. A poll conducted by Starbucks and London-based environmental charity Hubbub revealed that only 17% of those who own a reusable cup use them every time they buy a hot drink. Basically, increased sales of reusable cups in itself is not an indicator of behaviour change. That's a bit about reusable cups in general before the pandemic. But let's get back to the Keep Cup and why I feel this brand in particular no longer appears so frequently on social media. The thing about the original Keep Cup is that it's primarily for going into a coffee shop to get a takeaway drink and avoid the need to use a disposable cup. It's not the most versatile product. You've pretty much got to drink it straight away, as the original models don't offer any kind of insulation. Even the vacuum insulated versions only promise to keep your drink hot for 1 to 2 hours, or 1 and 2 hours respectively. Also, as many people have pointed out, it's not leak proof, so you can't put it in your bag for later. Having said that, lots of these kinds of reusable cups aren't completely leak proof, but the main point is that, as with many popular things, the market has become saturated and Keep Cup has stiff competition. Keep Cup has tried to adapt with more versatile offerings, such as its insulated versions like the Helix, 2-in-1 bottle cup kit, but it can't compete with something like a Hydro Flask, for example, or a Yeti Rambler, which can keep liquids cold or hot for several hours, look good, and you don't need to worry about dropping it. But more than this, the Keep Cup also doesn't fit in with the new trends set by outdoorsy Gen Zers and millennials who need something a bit more rugged for their weekend adventures. This is why brands such as Yeti, Cotopaxi and Patagonia are more popular than ever. 10-20 years ago, the Thermos had grandparents seeking a bargain at a car boot sale energy. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it certainly wasn't trendy. It was probably the exact opposite of trendy. Now, however, the insulated bottle or cup is practically a personality trait. But it's about more than this. Why haven't we seen many content creators posting about their Keep Cups in the past couple of years? Because we've realised that sustainability isn't just about not using disposable coffee cups. The online conversations around sustainability have matured, I like to think, and we are now considering our wider impact rather than just the rubbish that we produce. Sustainable social media content is now less about products, mason jars, reusable straws, bamboo toothbrushes, and more about not buying stuff.
I think a lot of people fall into this trap of being too focused on the small physical things and less focused on the overall impact our existence has on the planet.
I'm not trying to say that the Keep Cup era was completely wrong and misguided. It's understandable. What do good capitalists do when they encounter a problem? They try to buy their way out of it. These are deeply ingrained societal messages, and most people, understandably, do not want to live off-grid wearing only a loincloth. It's okay to want to buy stuff. Unfortunately, there are still those who believe that throwing money at the problem will resolve it. Carbon markets are a really good example of this. If you don't know what carbon markets are, I've linked an explainer in the description. How do carbon markets work? The Keep Cup for me is a symbol of those earlier years when it might have been considered virtue signaling to take your own cup into a coffee shop. But things have moved on, at least in my area, and no one bats an eyelid if you take your own cup. Which is surely what we want, right? We want sustainable behaviour to become, if not the norm, then at least not unusual. It's great that large numbers of takeaway coffee drinkers now have reusable cups, if they actually use them. Otherwise, it's just more overconsumption. What do you think the next phase of the sustainable online space will look like? As more brands seek to cash in on the rise of eco-conscious consumers, I suspect we will have to tackle more elaborate and sophisticated greenwashing tactics. The more we reduce our consumption, the more brands will scramble for our money in any way they can get it. On a more positive note, perhaps, we will see genuine strides towards more sustainable and ethical consumption. But what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you never miss another video essay. And if you're looking for another one to watch, then please check out the description. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you very, very soon.